What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic, and today's project, a car I am very excited for. This is the 1966 Ford Mustang. I've gone for my own variant of a fastback based on the Shelby GT350. Loosely based on, I will say that. Very much indeed. Very loosely based on. Lots of additional parts. Things changed on this one. It is in very bad condition. Well, I suppose I've seen a lot worse, but it's in pretty bad condition. Got it from the bad auction house where I actually got a good deal for a change. 21,828 is what I paid for this, and I could sell it for 22,760, making a profit of 932 before we've even started, and I do like them. Not that we will be doing that today. Obviously, we're going to customize this one. This is going to be based on my personal favorite car, as in if I had one of these cars, this would be, give or take, how I would build it. This is my dream car we're working on right here today, everybody. My personal dream car. I have put the V8 overhead valve 6P engine in this one, mostly because I love how this engine colors in comparison to all of the other engines. Pretty much none of them color even close to as good as this one, apart from the other bright orangey yellow engine. There we go. This one starts with 226 horsepower. We will be pitting most of the performance parts on this one. We may skip a couple for color reasons, but predominantly most of the performance parts on this one. Not aiming for anything too powerful today. We're aiming for something that looks awesome and that I would personally have as a daily driver. That is what we're going for. This is for the Discord competition. This is a beautiful Ford Mustang, modded in by Payne. It is looking absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to get started. There's that engine. There isn't much to see on this one. Obviously, there's a few things you can see straight away, like how far that wheel is set back. Can only be fixed with ET, and you can't, as far as I can tell, do ET in the car editor. They're so far back so that they do actually, the struts sit underneath these strut mounts. That's what I was aiming for. Great, now I can't put that back on. But never mind, that piece is missing and it won't let me put it back on because I can't open the hood because I don't have one. But it's all good. This is looking absolutely insane. I love this car and I cannot wait to get started. So let's get over to the car wash and hope it doesn't have a livery on it that you're not supposed to see. Let's go and get this one cleaned up. Let's get started. Here we are then in the car wash. Time to clean this beautiful Mustang. What colour is it underneath all of that dust and grime? Let's go. Let's have a look and just hope this doesn't have the livery you're not supposed to see on it. Yeah, it does not. That's fine. It doesn't have any livery that you. It doesn't have any livery at all. Fantastic. Very, very happy with that. In a nice light blue. It definitely won't be staying that colour as good as it looks. Let's get this interior done. Get it back on the lift and get the 6P engine ripped out. Ready to get everything else stripped down. First things first, we need to check that oil pan that I can already see is there, which it definitely is. So let's get that drained out. Over we come and out we go. Lovely and dirty oil, absolutely horrendous. But there we go. Let's get the drive shaft and gearbox out of here. Ready to get this one all stripped down. Are you going to let me go over there? Thank you very much. Out you come with the drive shaft. A couple of rusty bolts on the back part of this one, but it is not too bad. So you can see a few little bits that I have done. We've got some side exit exhaust there just poking out in front of the wheels with a lovely crossover in the center section. I think that looks pretty sweet. Quite pleased with how that turned out. Out you come starter. Out you come gearbox. And then obviously we've got a little bit of clipping here, but sometimes they're just things you can't avoid to make it look how you want to look. There is a few more bits that clip as well. I'm not proud of them. For example, this entire cross member pretty much clips through the bottom of this engine, and the steering rack and obviously the sway bar clip through the engine as well. But we're going to pretend that that isn't the case. We're going to take these front exhaust sections out while we're here, though. Get this back on the ground and get that beast of an engine ripped out of there and get everything else stripped down. Over we go with the engine crane. Did I get everything? I hope I did. Let's give it a go. I did indeed. Fantastic. Put you away, and let's see what we've got going on in this engine bay then. So I've got two large intercoolers in there in place of the old school radiator, just for a bit of better modern cooling as it goes. We've got a battery in there. We've got a wishy-washy reservoir, a power steering reservoir, a brake servo. Are we missing anything? That's with the engine. That's with the engine. That's the engine. We go over here. We've got the fuse box just up here. So let's get the cover off of you so we can have a look. Lovely fuses. They are all in there. Fantastic. We'll go down the back, we'll get the fuel pump out, and then we'll jump up the top and get all of these liquids drained out. Where's a good place to go? Probably here. Isn't too bad. So we know the drill. Right click, additional tools, drain tool, click and hold, and I'll be back in just a moment. There we go. That's all drained out. Let's start getting this clear then. Out with the wishy-washy reservoir, the power steering reservoir, and the brake servo, along with that battery that I've got to remember to throw on charge later. The intercoolers don't come out until we're underneath the car, and as we've already got everything, it's time to head underneath the car, see what we've got going on with this suspension. Obviously, this is sort of clipping-ish right now, but it won't be a bit later on once I put some ET on these wheels to get them far enough out so they line up nicely with that bodywork. So off with this wheel and let's see what we've got. Single wishbone, obviously with a nice shock up there. We do have the sway bar end link. We have the inner and outer tie rods. We also have the hubcap and bearing in there, along with both rubber bushings. So that side is all complete, which is always good to see. Inner and outer tie rod, hubcap bearing, and obviously the two rubber bushings with the sway bar end link. That is all there as well. Let's get this a big old rear wheel out. Out you come, nice and easy. And we do have modernized brakes back here because I wouldn't have it any other way. And we also have this suspension, which again is all looking complete. Both of the U-bolts, the bottom plates, the shock, the spring setup, shock spring setup, all the U-bolts. That is all there, which is absolutely fantastic. I do love to hear that. But what we need to do is we need to get all of this stripped out now. I will get the car up in the air, get all of that stripped. Get this fuse box stripped, get the engine stripped, and then we'll work on this beautiful, beautiful Ford Mustang's bodywork before we head over to the paint shop to check out the liveries that come with this one today. And also, sorry about that, and also the cool livery that I have made to go with this one. That's everything repaired, replaced or upgraded, ready to go back on our beautiful Mustang. But we need to sort this body out before we go any further. We already know I have taken out that engine strut, whatever you want to call it, engine brace. So let's just grab the rest of it out with these front fenders. Now all of this will be going on exactly as it came out. I will repair what I need to and replace what I have to, but nothing will be being changed from this body. We will see it as we go through, if I remember all the parts as well. Car part 1 is the window seal frames all around there. Got to remember that. We've got the rear fender. We've got the left body window, which aren't windows. They're vents in this one. We've got a rear window, a rear trunk, tail light, bumper. Obviously, that will get the license plate as well. And the rear clamshell under there. Then we've got the rear fender. Same again on the other side. And the door and the window. I think... No, that's not everything. Car part 2 is also a part there. We've got you as well. I believe that's everything. So let's just go into this interior next. You can see I've got all red interior apart from these seats, which aren't the seats I left in it, weirdly enough. But we will swap them out to the seats I do want in there anyway. I love this interior in red. It looks absolutely incredible. But let's check and see if we have got everything. That is the wrong screen. At 1%, that is a good sign. And we have got everything absolutely fantastic. Let's go and grab this welder and get this car all sorted out, or at least the frame all sorted out. I bought the car for just under 22,000. Wasn't in too bad condition. I'm going to say 1250. Oh, 50 out. Very close. Not too bad on that at all. While I am here, though, I will show you the body tuning shop for this beautiful Ford Mustang mod, because there is quite a bit to go through, and I am doing 2 of these Mustangs. So you've got the 2 different trims for the coupe models, the 2 different trims for the fastback models, and the 2 different trims for the 66 fastback models. Obviously, racing, windows, supports, and no trim around doors. I don't think that's the one we're going for. I can't remember. Whichever is the correct one is in there already. These 2 pieces here are that little front grille in front of the windscreen that you saw me pick up. Then we've got all the different engine covers. I will be using this engine cover today. It fits best with what I've got. Front bumper options, there is a lot to go through, so just have fun and go mad with it. Some bits do only work with certain clamshells, so do bear that in mind, but they do all say what is needed on them, which is fantastic. Plus, turn signal, delete, all of that with tow hook, black trim, all things like that. Everything you could want is listed in this one. Even the different light options, the front grille options. So there are extra lights in the grille, then without lights in the grille, so on and so forth. Loads of grills. Then we come to the doors. So we've got the coupe door with black trim, the coupe door with red interior, the coupe door with black trim and red interior, then the coupe door with black interior, Yeah, it goes on and on. Then you got no handles, with handles. There's a no handle one there in the coupe. Then we're into the fastback stuff, and you got all the same options. There are so many options with this mod, and I absolutely love it because I do love a Ford Mustang. Loads of different front fenders, including bits that get run down the side of the car. Bolt-on flares, molded flares, extra wide bolt-on flares, even extra wide RTR bolt-on flares. The list is endless with this car. It's absolutely fantastic. Full scale of the other side of the doors as well. Couple of different window options, coupe, fastback, and the window open option. Then more front fenders with the same options again. Then different hoods. Honestly, there is so much. There's 14 pages. I'm going to flick through them all, but I can't talk about everything. Otherwise, I will literally be here all day. All the different headlight options, covers, lights on, lights off, so on and so forth. Different mirrors. That's fender mounted on the front fender, but it does still move with the doors, as it does say there. Rear bumpers, lights with trim, painted, so on and so forth. Bumpers, painted bumper delete. I don't know why painted's got a thing to do with it, but it has apparently. Black trim with the exhaust tips, black trim exhaust tips only, and then without, and so on and so forth. We are still going. Now we're into the rear fenders with the bolt-on flares, the molded flares, and so on and so forth. This is a real fun one to play around with. Download this mod. Link is in the description below. Play around yourself, and you've got plenty of time that you can design your own and still enter the Discord competition. It will close this coming Wednesday. This video comes out on Monday. Obviously, you should know that. You are watching it. I'll be doing this Ford Mustang, and then I'll be doing a second Ford Mustang on Wednesday. So you've got until that Wednesday until it closes. So there is still plenty of time to design your own. Anyway, bumpers, spoilers we're on now. Apps, there's loads. Well, technically we're on the trunk, but they all come with pretty much they all come with spoiler options and so on and so forth. There is a lot going on with this build. There are 22 different variations that come with the mod itself. Plus, I have created 2 more. Not that I'm definitely advising that. So I've got 24 different configurations of a Mustang in this one. But this is absolutely insane. I love this mod, and now that body is looking beautiful. I'm going to get everything repaired, replaced, and back, or ready to go back on this car before we head over to the paint shop to see what is going on with this one today. It's time to get this beautiful Mustang back together before we head over to the paint shop and see what lovely livery we've got to go with this one today. Let's start with the interior. In we go. I have swapped the seats out to the Seat 9 Leather E. I think they fit this car absolutely beautifully well. And that lovely steering wheel there. Let's just take a look at these. See, I think they really fit in with that red interior there. And they give me Mustang vibes. Probably not Mustang seats in any way, shape or form, but it gives me Mustang vibes. Anyway, on with the bodywork. Let's start with the front fenders, molded flares as they were. I think I managed to repair both of these. I did indeed. I did have to buy a hood though, so on with that one. And then we do quickly need to open that one up so that I can get that engine cover in there. There we go. This covers the 2 front axles and a little bit that pokes down the front there. You can just see it in there. And we've got the front end going in, all black trim. Look at that. Then the headlights, which are the black trim with the DRL on. Then the front clamshell is the one with the turn signal delete. The Shelby variant, as I said, this is loosely based on a Shelby. And then the front bumper itself is this one here. These are brake vents. That's all it says about them, and they only go with that, or a couple of specific clamshells. Take air in through there and throw it into the brakes. Pretty awesome. Let's just get that one closed. Let's carry on our way around. In with the windshield, in with car part 2. Do not forget that one in there. And then car part 1 is the trim around the edges, looking pretty sweet. On with the door, in with the window, and then on with that mirror there. On you go. Then this is classed as a window, but it is the fenders, whatever you want to call them. Then the rear left fenders are the molded flares with the side scoop. On you go. I love them. I think they look absolutely sweet. In with the rear window, in with the trunk. No spoiler, just the fastback trunk option there, looking pretty sweet. Then we've got a rear clamshell with everything deleted on it, basically there, and a rear bumper just in the painted variant. On with the tail lights, they are the RTR black trim ones, but there we go. They just look awesome, and they're going to fit the livery so well. On with them, on with you, in with that door, in with the window, and on with that mirror. And we should pretty much be there. We'll jump to the back. We'll get that license plate in you go. Just on my classic plates with the Mustang 1. No plate at the front there. I think that is everything. We will have a double check. That's not the right screen. 100%, 100%, 100%. Absolutely fantastic. Let's get this beautiful Mustang over to the paint shop and see what's going on with this today. Here we are then in the paint shop with this beautiful Mustang. I honestly really do love this car. I cannot express it enough. There are a few liveries on here that I cannot show you that are somewhere mixed in the middle, so I will just cut that bit out when it comes to it. But I do want to quickly go over all the other cool liveries that do come with this one. Special thanks to French Toast. In we go. Slot number 1 is the Goldie Yellow Shelby GT350H variant. Looking pretty sweet. Racing stripes front to back with the little bit down at the side there. Slot number 2 is the same, but just the GT350 in the black. Looking pretty sweet. Slot number 3 is in a blue. Yes, it is. There we go. Looking awesome. Slot number 4 is in the white. Looking pretty sweet as well. Then we move on to the RTRX, or yeah, the RTRX, that one is. Looking awesome. I love this livery. You've got a couple of little digging details at the back there with the splashes of green sticking around it, around the doors there and everything. Looking awesome. Love it. Slot number 6 is without the text on the side there and no racing stripe down the middle, just in black. Slot number 7 is the red, same again. Slot number 8 is the white, same again. Can we go on? We can. Slot number 9 is with the gap, without any text, with the racing stripes. Slot number 10 is in the red in the same. Slot number 11 is in the white in the same. Can I show you 12? I can show you 12. 12 is the Indianapolis 500 pace car. Classic retro design. Looking awesome. Now, I believe I can't show you 13, 14, or 15, so we may have to skip over them. Then we're into number 16, which is just black racing stripes front to back. They look absolutely awesome. Slot number 17 is the red racing stripes. Oh, in with the fender wells as well. I never noticed that. That's pretty cool in the red. Then 18 is in the white. And then I think 19 is the livery I have created for this build today. Can't really see it too much in this body colour. It is still classed as the GT350. As I said, that's what it was based on. But I've got tribal stripes. Tribal designs going down the racing stripes. And when I sort this colour out, which I will do in just a minute, it will look so much better. I promise you. Well, at least I think it will look better anyway. So I'm going to get that all sorted, get the colour match perfectly, and I'll be back in just a moment. Here she is then with our beautiful matte grey on black Ford Mustang. Looking absolutely stunning with the black racing stripes with the grey tribal design running through them. I think it looks absolutely incredible. I'm very pleased with this one. It is looking awesome. Absolutely incredible. Underneath there, the engine bay is pretty dark in there. It's very grey though. But the engine itself is still going to be a combination of grey and black with a little splash of red. I already know exactly what I'm doing with this one, or what I intend to do with this one. Underneath, again, grey and black with the odd splashes of red here and there. You will see them when I build it. Hopefully this is going to look awesome. I absolutely love this car. I really do. Let's get it back on the lift. I need to get everything painted, ready to go back together. That's everything painted, ready to go back on our beautiful, beautiful Mustang. Let's start with the shocks. Over we go. We've got a main shock in the grey with the spring in a lovely pearl red. Just a few splashes of that dotted around. Nothing too over the top. Plus, it really goes with our bright red interior, which I absolutely love on this car. Anyway, let's get some of this back together. In fact, first off, I'm going to throw these two power performance what are they called? Large intercoolers in. Completely forgot what they were called. Front suspension cross member in that black. Hopefully to sort of counteract the blackness or the darkness of the engine bay. It's a bit grey into the black underneath it. The engine, it will all make sense in a few moments when we get over to building that beautiful engine. Lower suspension arm also in that grey, just because it looks pretty awesome. So you've got black into the grey there. Then on the shocks, you've got obviously that grey into the red. Looking pretty sweet, although from this sort of stuff, you can just about see it on the arm to the cross member there, but that looks black. And it's not. It is definitely grey. But we'll move on. The brake calipers are in that pearl red as well to match with a few red splashes we've got going around. And then the hubcap just in the black just to finish it off. That's half of that completed. Looking pretty awesome. Very pleased with the colour scheme on this one. Let's jump down the back and let's see what we've got going on. The main drive axle is in that black, looking pretty sweet. Let's jump over to the outside. Let's start throwing some of these pieces on. On you go, and in you go. All 4 bolts on you, plus the disc, and then we'll throw the brake pad on there, but we won't do anything else just yet. We'll come back to that in a minute. So the spring cap is in a grey on the black obviously to match the front springs or the front shocks with a beautiful red spring on there. And then the cap just on top, looking pretty awesome. That's pretty high. The rear shock absorber, we've got them in grey as well to match with the front shock absorbers. And also this solid axle control arm, also in that grey. Just to sort of spread it out a little bit, you can just about see a bit more the difference between the grey and the black down here. But it wasn't about showing off. This is building it how I would have done it. And I do like to paint everything, that lower plate there, in the black to go against the grey. And then the U-bolts in the grey. But yeah, I do like to paint anything because I like to make it look awesome, like it's choreographed, as it were, looking pretty special. And I think, especially from this angle, you can really see the greys into the blacks there. That looks fantastic. Plus that lovely red brake caliper on the end really finishes that one off. That is looking awesome. Very pleased with that. I'm going to crack on and get the rest of this finished. Get the fuel tank in, get the fuel pump in, get all of the exhaust in, running all the way down through, and get all of this suspension finished off. Then we'll sort out the engine bay before we go and build that beautiful coloured V8. That's all the suspension all finished off in its black, grey and red. Quite hard to see in some places, but it looks good to me, and I know it looks good underneath, so I'm very, very pleased with that. But do let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's move on, though. Let's get this engine bay sorted, starting with the battery, which I did manage to pick up. In with you, in with the wishy-washy reservoir, in with the power steering reservoir, and in with the brake servo. That's pretty much it, apart from the fuse box. So I'm going to just throw the base of that in and show you it's in the interior, technically. So I have done that one in a red to match with the rest of the interior. Not that it matters because you can't see it. It is hidden under the dashboard. But that is all the engine bay finished. And next up, we're going to go build the engine in the other room. Hopefully it's going to come out looking awesome. I'm pretty convinced it will. So I'll see you in there in just a minute. I'll get all of this finished up first. Here she is then, the beautiful 6P engine. I've already started. I've got the block in a matte black there and the oil pan in that matte grey. Looking absolutely stunning, but let's crack on. Loads more to go in this engine. In with the camshaft in the middle there. Then we've got a cam gear and a timing chain. On you go. If I could click here. Nicely done. And then the timing cover on the front of that black body there in that lovely matte grey. Looking absolutely stunning. Very pleased with that. Oil filter in the red just for a splash of that at the front because why not? The water pump itself is also in that grey just to sort of blend it in a little bit. I think it is looking pretty sweet so far, just the black and grey. The grey is definitely a lot more visible on this engine. And we've got a couple of arms. They are both in the black just to blend in a little bit. I didn't want it all grey. Way too much grey at the front there would have been here. Let's just get the rest of these few little bits on. On with you. On with you. Any bolts? No. Then we've got the alternator just in its chrome there, which does sort of match with a couple of pieces, but not too many on this engine. In with the filter as well. On you go. Did I say filter? Power steering pump is what I meant. Serpentine belt in. The other serpentine belt? Yes. Can we get all the stuff of this front end finished? We can. In with the radiator fan. I have done that one in the black just for a bit of good measure. Black, grey, black in there. Looking pretty sweet. Ignition coil is black with a splash of red on there for good measure. Fuel filter also in red because some of this is red. The distributor, I've done that one in the grey on the body there. The rotor, I didn't bother. And then the cap itself, I've done that one in a black. So it's grey and black with pearl red clips. You guessed it. You already knew there was pearl red clips going on there. Don't pretend you didn't. That's looking pretty sweet. Grey, black and red all in that part. Plus you got the red on these pieces. Bit of red down there as well. It is looking insane. Engine heads, on with you in the grey. And because they are that paintable one, they go all the way around the outside. This is why this is probably my favourite engine in the game. Just because of its painting. Nothing else. I've got spark plugs to go in. I've got valve push rods to go in. And I've got the same to do on the other side. So I'm going to get all of that done. And I'll see you back in a second. That's all of that taken care of. A few bits to go on here. So we've got some rocker arms on you go. Nice and easy. I have already done the rocker arms on the other side. Then we've got the exhaust manifold. I kept this one. I didn't change it to performance parts purely so I could paint it just in the black because I wanted it to go grey, black, grey. I think them black manifolds look pretty good, if I'm being honest. I'm very pleased with them. Then the engine head cover itself in that grey to keep that grey theme going on there. Looking awesome. I love that grey. It looks so good. And then the intake manifold through the middle in the black. Again, keeping that grey, black, grey going on. Looking pretty sweet. And I crack on, get the rest of this side all finished up, and I'll be back in a second. There you go. Just the power cables and the top end of the power cables? Ignition wires, whatever you want to call them. Carburetor C, in you go, just in your chrome, but with red as well for good measure. Carburetor C also on the other side. And then in the middle, we've got carburetor B. Yes, it is carburetor B. On you go there, looking pretty sweet. I love this engine, I really do. Air filter base in the black, and then we've got the air filter. It's red in its performance parts, which really goes with the colour build. And then the cover itself also just in that matte black. I think that is looking pretty sweet. Very, very pleased with that. Ignition wires, on you go in your pearl red. Just to finish this one off. Not too red, not too black. Just enough grey, I hope. Probably not quite the same grey as in the engine bay. I have lightened this one just a little bit more. Not by much at all, but I think that looks pretty awesome. I'm going to grab some photos. Then we're going to get this one dropped in the beautiful, beautiful Virtual Mechanic Mustang. I'll see you in a minute. Here comes the moment of truth then. How good is this going to look inside our beautiful little Mustang? I'm hoping it's going to look absolutely incredible. I'm a bit nervous about this one. In you go. Let's just take a moment. We'll put the crane away. I don't want to look. Let's look. Okay, that's... Oh, that... Okay, so I said I made it a little bit brighter. You can see, if I just get the highlight off there, it's tiny bit brighter, but not that much, especially in the shade of that engine bay. That looks awesome. I am very, very pleased with that indeed. Close that one up and then open it to see that. That looks absolutely insane. I am so happy with that. You would not believe. Let's get underneath. Let's get the gearbox and drive shaft in before I get these wheels finished. Windows tinted, liquids topped up. And get this one outside in the sun. Over we go. In we go there. So if I just click on here, we've got the gearbox. It's in a matte black to go with the engine block. Although the block itself is a little bit lighter than the gearbox. Not by much. You can't really tell. Starter I've done in red to continue on with that theme. Just a tiny little bit more. And then we've just got, sadly, 2 chrome front exhaust sections just to go in to finish that one off there. Looking pretty cool. Jump back. Let's get the drive shaft in. In you go. I'll get this all bolted up. And then I'll get the rest of that stuff finished off. And I'll see you outside in just a minute. There she is then. My dream Ford Mustang. In fact, my dream car. Not even my dream Ford Mustang. My dream car. This is the car I aspire to have one day. I will get there. I will get myself a 66 Mustang in these colours. I will hopefully try and get some of this tribal design added to a racing stripe. This is how I want it. Slightly wider fenders, front and back. Slammed down a little bit, not too much. Side pipe exhausts, although I do like the factory exhaust cutouts on the back that you can get with these. So maybe we do go for that one. But I just wanted to throw some side pipes on this one because I like side pipes. So, yes, this is my dream build. What do you think? And let me know in the comments below. The suspension looks absolutely beautiful, both front and back, in my opinion. Just in grey black with a splash of red, mostly in the brake calipers. The one thing I don't particularly like is how much ET I had to put on these rims to make this whole setup work. With them fit underneath the engine cover just there, down underneath. To fit all of that perfectly, you had to get the ET that much in there. Not my biggest favourite thing about this, but obviously a real-world car, we wouldn't need to do that. The engine itself looks absolutely insane, just in grey and black, with a tiny splash of that pearl red. I literally am so pleased with this engine, this whole build. I'm never selling it. This is I don't know where it's going to go. It's probably going to take the place of the Land Rover for the time being. Probably going to have a bit of a reshuffle, or find that mod that lets me pit cars there without downloading it from Nexus Mods, because I don't want to. I like the Steam Workshop, and I know you can't get it on the Steam Workshop. So maybe we'll have to just try and figure something out, because I definitely want this in and around the shop always, because it is just so beautiful. Let's talk about these rims. I just went for something a little bit basic on these. This is the Rim Classic 20. The fronts here are 16-inch, 245 width with a 25 profile on them, but the ET is 190, 190 to get it out that far. To fit just inside them arches, a little bit bulging out, not too much. Not too bad at all. Rear wheels, again, the Rim Classic 20. These are 17-inch rims at the back, though. Looking pretty sweet. They are 325 width, just in case we ended up with a shed load of power, and a 20 profile on them. Looking absolutely sweet, and I cannot say this enough. I absolutely love this car. It is beautiful, my favourite car of all time, and this is how I would build my one when I eventually get there. So if anyone wants to buy me a Mustang and ship it over to the UK, I'll be very, very grateful, and I will eventually make it look like this. Anyway, let's jump inside and check out this beautiful red interior, which is just absolutely stunning. I really do love it. It is beautiful work by yourself, Payne. Absolutely well done on that one. Let's get this one started up, though, and see what she sounds like. That is a lovely, mean tick-over grumble. One of the things I love about this engine is the grumble. The most important thing is how well it accepts colour and paints just beautifully. Spectacular. But let's give this one some gas. Still sounding very mean and angry at that top end, and I love it. But let's get this one onto the dyno and see what power we've got out of this tiny little 6p engine today. Here we are then on the dyno with the Ford Mustang Virtual Mechanic Fastback, and it's a V8 6p engine with 226 factory horsepower. How much did we add today? Let's have a look. A gain of 195 horsepower. Not that great, but we didn't put all of the performance parts on it, so it's not really that bad. 86% is still pretty good, considering neither of the exhaust manifolds were performance parts, or the intake manifold wasn't a performance part either, bringing our total up to 420 horsepower. 420 horsepower, nice, pretty sweet, not too bad. This was never built to be the fastest car in the world. I just hope it's not the slowest on the channel, I really do. Let's go over and check out the gearbox tuning setup for today. Here it is, nothing overly fancy, a 2.49 ratio, 64 kilometers an hour in first gear, 6 gears in total. We're calling it 4 gears, 3 plus overdrive, 4 plus overdrive. 363 kilometers an hour is what it says on here. Pretty confident we won't quite get there, but let's head over to the track and see what we will get. Here we are then on the speed track with, in my opinion, the most beautiful car in the entire world, with an extra cool livery that I really do love. But how fast can we get this one down the runway? Let's jump inside. Let's go. Bit dark on the window tint still, but here we go. Not the greatest gear change in the world there. Not too bad. We're doing all right though. 150. Not bad at all. Let's get up to 200 and I'll feel a bit more confident. Come on, little car, you can do it. There it is. 250 is obviously going to be my next aim. I don't know how fast we're going to go, but we are petering off a lot now, and we only have one more gear left to go. If we'll even get up into it, come on, we can do 250. Yeah, I reckon we can do 250. 260. Come on, little Mustang. You can do it. Go on, 260. 58, 59. No, 259 kilometers an hour from the Ford Mustang. Well, it wasn't last, so I guess that's something. 259 kilometers an hour from the Virtual Mechanic Ford Mustang Fastback. Love this car. Again, it was always built for looks. It was never going to be the fastest. 7th from the bottom to, 136th in our speeder board. Yeah, not the greatest. At least it didn't come last, though. I am definitely very happy about that. I love this car. The red interior just looks absolutely beautiful. I'm really, really proud of that engine and this livery. Although it is nothing special, nothing overly fancy, it's just got a nice little bit of detail to it. And I really do just love the grey on the black with the greys into the greys there. Looks absolutely stunning. Very, very pleased with it. But what do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below. I'm definitely not selling this car ever. I have to do a new game before I even consider getting rid of this bad boy. So there we go. We are going to jump into some facts and figures, though. Talk about the money side of it. I bought the car for $21,828, and if you stuck around for long enough at the beginning, you would have seen that I was losing out on a 900. No, I wasn't. I was gaining 932 credits. I'm so used to losing out. I'm just automatically used to saying it. I wasn't losing out. I was almost 1,000 credits up from the word go. But then, since then, we spent another 47,436 making this car look as awesome as it does, putting all the colour on that engine, putting all the performance parts in there, most of them. Obviously, intake manifold, not performance, and the exhaust manifolds, not performance either. Everything else in there is, so, you know, it's still pretty much up there with what it could be. Our total spend is 69,000. Nice. 264 credits, not too bad at all. But if we were to sell this one, would we make a profit? Let's have a look. 290,000 kilometers on this one, almost up to that 300,000 kilometer mark. Now with a measured horsepower of 420 horsepower on there, a gain of 86%. Very pleased with that, considering I wasn't expecting much out of this engine. But can we make a profit? Yes, we can. 125,647 would be the sale price of this car. We are not selling it. Do not press that button. Giving us a profit of 56,000, or a potential profit of 56,383. I'm closing the screen so I don't accidentally sell the car now. Now, I did say at the end of the last episode that I would be doing 2 Mustangs for this competition. My dream car, there she is. I think she's absolutely stunning, and no one will ever take that away from me. This is my favorite car of all time, and I think this particular version right here is the most beautiful looking Mustang, but it is my opinion. That is what it is. So we do have a second one. I said one was going to be my dream car. One was going to be a bit of an experiment. Let's go in and check out the experiment. There she is. Obviously, slightly based on the RTR Mustang, using the GT66 frame there. Looking pretty sweet with the engine through there. This is not your standard Mustang. You already see no engine there with some battery packs, which you should know what that means by now. This does have the electric motor in it, not a big old V8 like most of them would have. A lot of cooling. We got intercooler at the front here with 2 air coolers. At the front, at the back with 2 air coolers down the back. Then we got 2 radiators at the front as well, with another intercooler there as well. Extra cooling for this. All of the batteries in there. There is it 12? 12 on the, no, yeah, 12 on the floor. 2 in the engine bay, just for a bit of extra power. This is in very bad condition, but I love it. This is the RTR Experiment. That's what I've called this one. It is based on a 66 again, but it's the Virtual Mechanic RTR Experiment. The E is for electric. The experiment is because, well, experimental is because this is an experimental. Look how bad all of that is. It is awful. Did we get a good deal? No. I only paid 8,106 for the car, which I think is actually a pretty good deal, bearing in mind what I have planned for this one. We could sell it now and lose out on 1,671, but we definitely won't be doing that. Here's the important part. This engine is the electric... Sorry, this motor is the electric motor. They're not normally overly powerful. Yeah, this one's a little bit powerful. 1,738 horsepower is the base horsepower on this electric motor, without changing any of the performance parts, which we will definitely be doing for this build. We have a very special livery to go with this one as well that I've created myself with a bit of help from French Toast. Thank you very much for that, French Toast. You are such a legend. You will not believe it. But before we end this video, I'd just like to say both these Mustangs, this is the same mod. It is available from Payne. A link is in the description for the video below and will be in the description of this video here when it comes out. It is all part of the Discord competition. Please enter, come and vote, whatever you want to do. Just come and get us on the Discord. Link to that is also in the description below. It's a lot of fun. Everyone is building this particular Mustang. Well, not this particular Mustang, but variations of this mod Mustang, which the link is in the description below. Go and grab yourself, build your own version, make it look as cool as you can. Get it entered and see if you too can make it onto the Virtual Mechanic Pinboard of Champions. I have just come up with that name and I absolutely love it, but I probably will have forgotten it by the next episode. So never mind. Thank you so much for watching today's build. I do hope you did enjoy it. I definitely did. This is, yeah, I've said it enough. It is my favorite car of all time, and this is, in my opinion, the most beautiful looking one ever made. I think I did a fantastic job on sorting this one out. But again, what do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. You